Does your child or student have an IEP or need one? Then you've come to the right place. If they have special education services, then you're going to be seeing a ton of IEP meeting notices before every meeting. But what do they mean and how do you prepare? In this video, I'm going to show you 5 secrets so you know what your IEP meeting notice is supposed to look like and how to advocate like a pro so your child can get the best IEP for their unique learning needs. Hey, what's up? I'm April Rarig, your special education advocate to make IEPs and 504 plans so much easier. If you're new here, go ahead and click on that subscribe button to get more videos like this in your inbox every week, and follow us on Instagram at Rise Ed Advocacy. Here's what you need to know about IEP meetings. Individual education plans, also known as IEPs, are regulated under IDA law. The problem is parents aren't given the right instructions and directions, so you know exactly what to ask for and how to get it when it comes to IEP meetings. That's why I'm so excited that you're watching this video, where I'm going to take you behind the scenes of an IEP meeting notice so you know exactly my 5 secret favorite hacks so your child can get the best IEP for their unique learning needs. Make sure to keep watching this video, where I'm going to give you all of my tips and resources so you can advocate like a pro. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. The first thing that you need to know, or secrets when it comes to an IEP meeting notice, is your team needs to notify you in writing. What am I talking about? I'm talking about written notification on a specific form that lays out the purpose of the meeting, who needs to be there, what type of meeting it is, what are they talking about. There's so much information in there. Here's something else that your school is not going to tell you. Pro tip. If they call you and they say, oh yeah, we're going to have an IEP tomorrow. Nope. That doesn't count as written notice. Or they send you an email and saying, yeah, we're going to have a meeting next week. Nope, that doesn't count. What can you do about it? You can say, thank you so much, team, for letting me know about the IEP. However, I would like written notification so I can have a better understanding of exactly what's going to happen and who's going to be there. Pro tip. It's going to save you a lot of time and headache. Make sure to grab our free guide, the 5 things that you need to bring to every IEP meeting notice with my checklist. Grab it in the link in the description box below. So now you know the first secret, which has to do with your IEP meeting notice, needs to be in writing. Now let's dive into the second secret, and this has to do with what's inside your meeting notice, meaning what does it look like? So if your child has had an IEP meeting, then make sure to grab your meeting notice. If they've never had one before, then make sure to write this down. Pro tip. The first thing you want to look for inside the meeting notice is what type of meeting. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the purpose of the meeting. So your IEP could be an initial IEP. It could be a triennial IEP, an annual, also known as a plan review meeting, or a re-evaluation meeting. It also could be an amendment meeting, a transition meeting, or what's called a 30-day IEP. Oh my gosh. Don't stress. I've got you covered to make sure to keep watching this video. So once you know the purpose of the meeting, here's the other things you want to look for. The time, meaning the start and the end time. Yep, pro tip. Your team needs to clarify how long the meeting is. Now, let's say your meeting is going to be virtual. What do you need to do in order to prepare? Make sure to check out my free guide, How to Fully Prep for a Virtual IEP Meeting, with 10 tips that are going to show you how to rock a virtual IEP meeting like a pro. Make sure to grab it in the link in the description box below. So now you know what an IEP meeting notice is supposed to look like. But how can you prepare? Make sure to check out my video, do this before every IEP, to make sure to check out my 5 tips that you need to do before every meeting so that you can fully advocate like a pro and you can feel so much better for your child's next IEP meeting. Make sure to grab the link in the description box below. So now you know the first and the second secret when it comes to understanding your IEP meeting notice. Let's go ahead and dive into that third secret. And the third secret has to do with who is coming to your IEP. So if you take a look inside the IEP meeting notice, it should clarify what type of providers are going to come. Did you know that there needs to be a general education teacher at every single IEP meeting, your child's case carrier or their special education teacher, unless it's a related service provider, an administrative designee, of course you as the parent, as well as someone else who's able to interpret standardized test scores or the evaluation data. Did you know that? So the truth of the matter is, pro tip, when you are sitting in an IEP meeting, they are a negotiation, and you as parents know your child better than anyone else. All you need is the tools and the resources. So make sure to check out my video all about an IEP meeting that gives you 4 tips when it comes to negotiating at the table so you can feel so much better and you can know exactly what to ask for and how to get it. Make sure to grab the link in the description box below. The fourth secret that you need to know when it comes to an IEP meeting notice is when you're supposed to be notified. The truth of the matter is, a pro tip, IDA law does not specifically clarify a timeline for when you're supposed to be given that written notification we talked about earlier. What they do talk about is that parents need to be notified in advance. So make sure to check out your state website to find out if there is a specific timeline that you need to be notified before your child's next IEP meeting. Speaking of IEP meetings, did you know this? That if you get an IEP meeting notice, pro tip, you can respond to that IEP meeting notice. Or if your child is really struggling and you don't want to sit around and wait for the next IEP, you can request for an IEP meeting now. I've got a fillable template called my IEP meeting request template that makes sure that it lays out and it clarifies in a fillable template in terms of what you can ask for, how you can ask for the meeting, what type of meeting you would like to ask for, what type of providers you would like to come, whether it's virtual, in person, and most importantly, you can request for drafts. Yes, it's true. You can request for IEP meeting progress reports, documentation, evaluations before the meeting. Oh my goodness. If you respond or request to an IEP meeting notice through a parent letter of attachment, it will change everything. So make sure to grab the link to my fillable template in the description box below. So now let's talk about the fifth secret when it comes to an IEP meeting notice. It all comes down to making sure that you get the best date and time. What am I talking about? I'm talking about if you get a call and your team is like, hey, April, we want to have an IEP meeting for your child tomorrow at 8 a.m. And you're like, oh, I have to drop off my other child at this time, or I am at work. I can't get off work in order to attend the meeting. Here's the truth that your school doesn't tell you. Pro tip, IDA law spells out that your team needs to meet at a mutually agreed upon time for both the parent and the school. It's true. So you can't just come to an IEP meeting for all the students if they're all going to be Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Yep, it's true. I've seen that when I've been a school psych and an advocate before. They tell all the parents that all the IEPs need to be a specific time or date. It needs to be mutually agreed upon. So what can you do in order to get the best IEP date and time for your child? Use that template that I already talked about. Inside the template, there's a specific spot where you can talk about proposed meeting dates and times that work with your schedule so that your school can come back and say, oh yeah, that works for us too. Make sure to grab the link in the description box below. The last resource that I want to share with you is called 7 Steps for a Successful Meeting. And it lays out 7 tips that help you organize in terms of how to negotiate at the table, what to say and what not to say, whether you're a parent or a teacher at the IEP table, and how to feel better conducting those meetings. Here's something else that you may not know. As a special education advocate, I spend 90% of my time advocating with families before an IEP. It's true. We do all of our prep work before the meeting. So when we walk into the meeting, we already have drafts. We already submitted that parent letter of attachment through the meeting notice that I was talking about. We already know exactly the purpose of the meeting, what type of providers are going to be there, how long the meeting is going to be. It makes things so much easier. Make sure to grab the link to our free guide in the description box below. So now you know what an IEP meeting notice looks like and how to read and make sense of an IEP notice. Let me ask you something. If you were to think about one thing that you would want to do differently now that you have all this information about meeting notices, what would it be? Got a question? Make sure to put it in the link in the description box below. Want me to do another video? Yep, put it there too. Make sure to check out the link in the description box for all of my videos, how-to guides, and fillable templates and resources. Like and subscribe to get more videos like this in your inbox every week. And follow us on Instagram at RiseEdAdvocacy. I'm April Rarig, your special education advocate. I can't wait to see you for our next video.